係唔知仲要 crew and crew 玩幾耐？呢個應該係繼續睇希臘歷史嘅，刪咗啲冇嘅嘢先。呢個係講 Olympic Games 喎。
Welcome to Olympia, home of the Olympic Games. I've often dreamed of competing in the games. If my sight was better, my legs and arms were stronger, and my coin purse was fatter. But that is not what the gods want, so I continue making the best of the path they've laid out for me. We're standing in the main section of Olympia, where the Olympic Games themselves took place. Over the course of the festival, athletes competed against each other for prestige and glory to honor themselves and their cities. Enjoy your visit, friend. I'll check in when you're done to make sure you've been paying attention.
我入得嚟玩呢個 Discovery Mode 咁我自然會。
The first day of the Olympic Festival began with a swearing-in ceremony for the participating athletes, trainers, and judges. The ceremony took place in front of the altar of Zeus Horkios, or Zeus of the Oath. Athletes would swear that they would follow the Olympic rules, while judges promised to be fair and unbiased. Then the competitions began, starting with a contest between heralds and trumpeters over who would have the privilege of announcing the games. The first day's athletic competitions consisted of wrestling, running, and boxing events for the youngest athletes, aged 12 to 18.
係有分年齡組嘅。幅配圖同佢講嘅嘢完全冇關係。Heralds 都係要比賽，都幾搞笑。係好後期先出現到呢個傳統。Loudness and clarity。 9個站。呢啲係唔使行過去嘅，呢啲地方。
The second day began with a grand procession into the Hippodrome to celebrate the start of the popular equestrian events. The most anticipated and spectacular of these was the Quadriga, a 4-horse chariot race. Horse racing events were unique in that the winner was not the most skilled jockey, but the owner of the fastest horse or chariot. The Spartan princess Kaniska once took advantage of this loophole to skirt the rule that women weren't allowed to compete, and earned 2 Olympic victories in the process. The rule also allowed for occasionally strange results, like in 416 BCE, when the statesman Alcibiades entered 7 chariots into a race and won 1st, 2nd, and 4th place. After the equestrian competitions, the 40,000 spectators migrated to the stadium to watch the pentathlon events. When the day's events were over, funeral rites were performed for the hero Pelops, the mythical founder of the Olympic Games. The night ended with a celebratory feast and a great parade in honor of the day's victors.
記唔晒，講多次。Equestrian 係咩呢？即係所以比賽係比賽隻馬嘅，就唔係比賽同就唔係比賽坐戰車嗰個人，所以一個人就可以有幾個 slot。 都唔係頭3名。可以騎嗰啲嘛？係咪 follow road 啊？佢條路係點 set 嘅？What the hell？竟然講返現代嘅事。1863至1937，咁早發現咗咧，但係隔咗600幾年先開始掘。跟住又隔咗好多年，呢個人先提出重辦奧運會。1896，即係佢33歲嘅時候，咁都好後生喎。咁細年紀咁少就有咁大嘅影響力。33都唔係特別細嘅，而且佢係貴族。公元前3000年，咁誇張？ 即係唔知係咪伊利亞成日俾人翻拍得多咧，梗係。即係佢作為一個小説，實在作為一個史詩，即係當然個文體係史詩啦。咁實際我覺得同而家創作出嚟嘅小説係冇咩分別嘅。即係係咪因為翻拍得太多電影，或者俾人睇得太多次啊？梗係覺得佢冇乜真實性啦。OK。可能講啲馬啦，嗰邊係呢個地方有咩特別啊？原來係咁嘅樣嘅，同遊戲入面個樣有啲分別喎。遊戲入面冇鬚噶嘛。第二個站已經有咁多嘢要睇啦。呢條路已經行過啦，之前。有兩個。周圍都係紫色，真係留意唔到。佢個時間個範圍係咪太長？其他地方都有運動會嘅，雖然我諗奧林匹克係最出名。 我梗係覺得壽司同奧丁係差唔多。
Victory at the Olympic Games was one of the highest honors a mortal could achieve, and there were several ways to immortalize that honor. Some athletes had statues erected of themselves, while others commissioned poets to write them victory odes. Oral tradition was very important to the Greeks. These odes, called eponychia, were often composed by the finest poets in the land, such as Pindar, Simonides, and Bacchylides. They were usually played at banquets and celebrations attended by the triumphant athlete or upon his departure from Olympia.
如果啲運動員本身係有錢人咁，就當然可以自己幫自己立一個像。之前行過呢條路嘅。應該會兜返轉頭啦，第三個站。
The pentathlon took place at the stadium on the second day. As its name implies, it was made up of 5 events: discus throwing, javelin throwing, jumping, racing, and wrestling. There are several differences between the ancient version of events and their contemporary counterparts. For example, ancient long jumpers held weights in their hands to give them momentum to launch, since there was no run-up before the jump. Similarly, if an athlete won the first 3 events, they were immediately declared the winner, instead of being judged by their overall performance in all 5 events. Running events work the same as they do today, with the notable exception of all the athletes being nude. As for wrestling, competitors were not divided by weight class as they are today, but instead by age. The winner was the first to throw his opponent to the ground 3 times.
裸體摔角，好恐怖。我依家係早期嘅。 12歲贏到跑步咁恐怖。要關阿里士多德事。呢度應該有幾個。
Day 3 started with the most important event of the festival. A procession of Hellanodikai, ambassadors, competitors, and animals made their way to the great altar in front of the Temple of Zeus. The animals were then offered as the official sacrifice of the festival. The afternoon of Day 3 was dedicated to foot racing events. Running was the oldest event of the Games, and in fact was the only event at the first Olympics. The main race was called the Stadion, which was a sprint of around 180 meters. The winner was granted the honor of lending his name to the 4-year period between the Games. This period was known as the Olympiad. The 4 years that followed the first Games in 776 BCE were known as the Olympiad of Coroebus of Elis, the first Olympic champion. Once all the competitions were over, a public banquet was held in the Prytaneon to celebrate the day's victors.
跑3點幾公里啊！我諗3至5公里啊！最後一種比賽，而家都有嘅，而家奧運會都有嘅，不過都係冇乜人睇，即係你要睇佢20分鐘跑，又唔知邊個跑先邊個跑後，就喺度跑圈嗰陣，你都唔知邊個跑得多啲。
Day 4 was mainly for combat events. Wrestling matches were held in the morning, followed by boxing and pankration. Pankration was a no-holds-barred mix between wrestling and boxing. Almost all moves were permitted, except for biting, poking the eyes or mouth, and striking the genitals. The event was very popular, and it was seen as the ultimate expression of strength and technique. Later on in the afternoon, there was a unique racing event called the Hoplitodromos, or Race in Armor. In this event, competitors wore a helmet and held a shield to simulate running in the battlefield.
Okay. Pankration.
Day 4 was mainly for combat events. Wrestling matches were held in the morning, followed by boxing and pankration. Pankration was a no-holds-barred...
Pankration. OK. 用返希臘嘅發音方式，希臘文。咁 hoplite 可能就係盔甲咁解。
The Hellenodikai, or judges of the Greeks, were both the game's adjudicators and their organizers. They hailed from Elis, the city in charge of the sanctuary of Olympia, and new judges were elected each Olympiad. They had several responsibilities. Before the game started, they decided which athletes would be allowed to compete and supervise their training. They also drew lots to make the competition brackets. During the games themselves, they picked the winners and kept an eye out for foul play. For the latter, they were assisted by stick and whip-wielding umpires who stood near the athletes and punished them if they were caught cheating.
都好戲劇，都好戲劇性下。好有啲格鬥漫畫嗰啲感覺，贏咗場比賽，但係喺呢個決賽嗰度死咗。Kira， 我唔記得呢個咩人嚟，遊戲角色嚟嘅應該。
The Hellenodikai, or judges of the Greeks, were both the games that they had. Before the games, they also drew lots to make the competition bracket. For the
仲有2個集，應該講埋呢頒獎儀式嘅會。
Victory in Olympia was one of the most prestigious honors in all of Greece. Not only would victors be showered in glory in their home city, but their names would be known across Greece. The temptation to glory led some athletes to break their oath to Zeus and cheat. This could be dangerous, as there were many possible punishments should cheaters be caught. They could be disqualified and fined, or if they were caught cheating during a match, they would be beaten by nearby umpires. The most powerful deterrent of cheating, however, was shame. At the foot of Mount Kronios, and on the way to the stadium, were a group of bronze statues called Zanes, the plural of Zeus. These statues were inscribed with the names of the cheating athletes, how they cheated, and the fine that was imposed. The Zanes, which were funded by cheaters' fines, were strategically placed to be highly visible. Individuals or even entire cities could be found guilty of cheating.
OK， 我估唔到會咁數。呢個係真跡嚟嘅，呢個係真跡。你真跡嘅話，應該係照跟嘅。好似有啲唔同樣喎。應該冇分別嘅，睇過同冇睇。
The Prytaneon was the administrative center of the cult of Olympia and the Olympic Games. The building housed the sanctuary's priests, as well as the game's officials. It was also used to stage the grand banquet held on the evening of the third day to honor victors. It also had a sacred function. Its central chamber was the location of the Fire of Hestia, a sacred flame that burned day and night. This fire was used to light the other altars around the sanctuary. This practice may have partially inspired the modern tradition of carrying the Olympic torch.
Prytaneon。 meat leftover 啲食剩嘅肉佢哋有方法儲存嘅咩？可能用鹽醃啦，我諗。喺邊度啊？應該唔係呢個喎，有得入嘅呢度，就係呢個火。我仲以為呢個庭園唔係好大添。1936年喺柏林，咁咪真係二戰前一年。咁 Histia 係咩人嚟嘅？我覺得 lamp 呢個字，而家解作燈係有啲關係同佢。差兩個去睇埋啦。Return to your tour guide。OK。係非常之有實用性嘅，原來成件事。OK。呢邊應該入口咯。 係講條河。呢啲相咁清晰，應該都係應該係20世紀影㗎啦。再早啲嘅相係好似唔係咁清晰嘅。OK， 河流改道水災，估唔到咁犀利喎，可以浸，可以浸到4米咁多，沖啲泥沙。喺4米嘅地底下就揾唔到㗎啦，係啊，咁少泥沙就揾唔到。我諗4米係2000幾年造成嘅結果嚟。呢啲地區真係唔知點去喎。遲啲揾隻馬沿住佢跑啦。
Hello again! I hope you enjoyed your visit. With their spectacular events and lavish banquets, the Olympic Games were a feast for the senses. I am certain even Zeus himself was entertained by the festivities. Now, is there anything else you'd like to do? Wonderful! Let the mental Olympics begin. Let's start with an easy one. Which notable woman won an event in the games?
有人提過咩？
Correct! She won 2 equestrian events thanks to her savvy horse purchases. This next question is slightly more challenging. Which of the following is not a famous Greek poet?
好彩認得個名啫。
You are right! Thrasydus was a renowned Spartan general, and he didn't have time for rhymes and pretty words. Time for the final question. How many events were in the pentathlon?
How many?
Yes! The Greek word for pende means 5, and the pentathlon had 5 events. Well done, my friend! You truly possess a sharp mind. Thirsty for more, eh? I don't blame you. Follow me.
呢個斯巴達啲文化都幾神奇。咩地方啊？呢度 Priscilla 係個詩人啊嘛。 music 4個站。佢喺遊戲入面成個雅典城係冇咩作用嘅，原來就係用嚟整呢個 discovery mode。
Welcome to Athens, wanderer. More specifically, welcome to the musical hub of the city, the Odeon. Sometimes, when the burdens of life begin to weigh heavy on my shoulders, I come here, close my eyes, and surrender myself to the music. It makes me feel like I'm a child again. My mother singing me to sleep with a gentle lullaby. Sometimes, when the burdens of the Odeon was where musicians came to share their songs with the public. The melodies played here caught the wind and drifted through the air, soothing the souls of Athenians across the city. Come find me when your visit is complete, and we will talk about the things you've learned. See you soon, wanderer.
Music played an important part in almost every aspect of ancient Greek life. Whether attending a public gathering, rubbing elbows at a dinner party, laying out offerings in a temple, or marching into battle, there was a song for everything. Aristotle even wrote that music increased the efficiency of laborers, and it was often played for rowers and field pickers to keep them working at a steady rhythm.
OK， 其實 C 好多時都有音樂奏嘅，的確係。我開始發現咧，現代人好多時喺度諗。佢哋嘅工作咧係用個服裝嚟分開嘅，但係古代睇嚟係冇呢種習慣，無論做咩工都係着翻同樣嘅衫。
Musical contests, or agones, were originally only held during religious festivals. Over time, they became cultural events in their own right, and attracted musicians and spectators from all over the Greek world. For example, the Athenian Panathenea festival featured competitions for instrument playing and poetry recitation. The Dionysia festival included contests between groups of male singers to see who could best perform a dithyramb, a merry hymn in honor of the god Dionysus. While these contests could be attended by all, women weren't allowed to compete in them. In the early days of the competitions, winners only received a crown and an ego boost for their talents. But from the Hellenistic period onward, the rewards were upgraded to cash prizes. These prizes were large enough for musicians to make a fortune, especially if they moved from festival to festival.
Protagoras. Too exciting.睇附近有冇啲 discovery sites？ 呢個應該係連住呢區嘅。
The Odeon of Pericles was built sometime between the 440s and 430s BCE. The building was commissioned by Pericles for use in the Panathenaea festival. The Odeon was also a venue for poetry readings, political rallies, and philosophical performances. According to ancient sources, the original design of the Odeon was inspired by the tent of the Persian king Xerxes, a spoil of war the Athenians salvaged after their decisive victory at Salamis in 480 BCE. The building's roof was made of timber from captured Persian ships. In this sense, the Odeon was both a triumphant symbol of Athens and an insult to their Persian enemies. This structure was considered one of the grandest architectural accomplishments of ancient Athens.
既然係咁，個造型的確同希臘嘅建築差距好遠，係比較似伊斯蘭，係比較似中東嗰頭嘅建築，唔係伊斯蘭啊，嗰陣冇伊斯蘭。係咯，完全係中東嗰頭嘅建築模式嚟嘅喎，呢座嘢，完全啊唔似亞啲，完全唔似希臘嗰啲建築。睇個位做咩先？理解唔到呢個位咧。我覺得喺升學嘅角度嚟睇，呢個建築唔係幾好，即係睇慣而家嗰啲 theatre 之後。
proud of the born to be Spartans. They'll ride through the fire they face. They carry the weight of Leonidas. The bravest they'll fight to the grave. The bravest they'll fight.
人嚟敲門。佢哋係有跟翻古希臘嗰啲畫風畫翻啲人物出嚟。
In ancient Greece, there was a type of music for almost any occasion. Complicated songs like hymns, paeans, and dithyrambs were meant for the ears of the gods, and as such were usually played during religious ceremonies and civic life. Meanwhile, a hymenaeus was a song performed at weddings, and a threnody accompanied funeral processions. For more merry occasions like symposia, scholia were the soundtrack of choice. However, drama was considered the epitome of artistic expression, since it combined songs with poetry, dance, acting, and costumes. Plays were thought to be the connection between mortals and gods, and the songs that accompanied them, especially those from the tragedies of Euripides, often became huge hits in the rest of Greece.
有冇任何嘅樂譜係留低咗嘅咧？其實睇翻啲名先 ，hymns, paeans, dithyrambes, hymenaeus. Scholia, threnody. 識唔識啊？好多人名啊！Harmony 就係喺呢度出現，喺呢個字源。
Hello again. I trust your visit was worthwhile, and that learning of music was a feast for your mind. I know it was for mine. Is there anything else you'd like to do? Fancy yourself an expert on music? Then let's put your knowledge to the test. Which of the following songs was played at weddings? Correct. A Imeneos was performed at weddings to wish the couple a happy and prosperous union. Let's move on to the second question. The Odeon of Pericles was modeled after spoils of war from which Athenian enemy? Correct. Not only was the design based on the tent of the Persian king Xerxes, but the building's roof was made of wood from captured Persian ships. Only one question remains. According to Aristotle, music was especially important to which group of people? Aristotle actually believed music should not be part of children's
第二個
education,
人先啊，
as it would distract them from their studies. Try again. Given that the politician's main tool is their voice, they probably prefer not to be drowned out by an entire chorus of singers. Keep trying. Well, yes, but I'm not looking for an obvious answer. Think back to the tour. You are correct. Aristotle believed music improved certain motor skills.
係咁咩？
So it was played for field pickers and rowers to increase their work output. You definitely have an ear for music, Wanderer. I applaud you. That's the spirit. Follow me, Wanderer.
公元前17世紀。我諗會經過嗰個位。哇！使唔使咁難去啊？黐線，點去啊？呢啲地方。
Welcome to Knossos, traveler, where the Minotaur once prowled. Some say, if you listen closely, you can still hear echoes of the Minotaur's ferocious bellowing. Of course, it may only be a trick of the wind. Perhaps. Knossos was the seat of the old Minoan civilization, where King Minos once supposedly ruled. These ruins have been the backdrop for many important events in both history and mythology. Look for me when your visit is over, and we'll discuss what you've seen.
呢個地方比希臘其他地方啲文明更加古老。雖然 Olympia 嗰度都係公元前3000年，即係其實每個地方都係相當古老嘅，不過睇下邊個文明留低嘅建築係比較舊嘅啫。
The island of Crete was first settled around 8000 BCE. Over time, significant towns and maritime trade began to develop. Palaces were built, destroyed, and then rebuilt, culminating in what archaeologists call the Neopalatial period, which began around 1700 BCE. This period lasted for over 300 years and is considered the golden age of Minoan civilization. The largest palace of this period was located in Knossos and featured maze-like complexes of workshops, temples, courts, throne rooms, and living areas, as well as paved roads and advanced plumbing and draining. Trade and external relations were important to the Minoans, and their networks extended across the eastern Mediterranean. As a result, the people of Crete and the lands they traded with often influenced each other and exchanged ideas, usually through peaceful interactions instead of military conflict.
原來係根據幅畫畫嘅。竟然係非常現代嘅畫嚟嘅呢幅。呢個營地都係喺度冇俾人哋跌到。
The settlement of Knossos was established as early as the 7th millennium BCE. Today, one of the site's most notable landmarks is the palace ruins, located on the Kafala Hill. The ruins are split into two phases: the old palace, which has been poorly preserved, and the new palace. The new palace of Knossos had a surface area of approximately 13,000 square meters, making it the largest Minoan palace. Its focal point was a central court, which was probably used for ceremonial activities. The Minoan palace centers collapsed when Crete was overrun and conquered by a Mycenaean invasion from mainland Greece. However, the date of the final destruction of Knossos' palace is still unknown.
嚇！現代樓喺度都幾完整下，呢啲柱，呢啲係石頭啊，應該係石頭嚟嘅，但係古代有咩技術可以整得咁遠？ 竟然係走落去。
During the new palace phase, the ground floor was dedicated to economic activities and contained large storage rooms. The residential quarters, which notably had toilets, were located southeast of the central court, at the foot of the grand staircase. The palace was lavishly decorated with wall paintings depicting things like bull-related sports and richly dressed women. Large stone horns of consecration, which were important Minoan religious symbols, hung prominently in the west court. Other notable parts of the palace include the theatrical area, which is believed to have served as a viewing space, the tripartite shrine, which was dedicated to the worship of an important Minoan deity historians refer to as the Mother Goddess, and the Piano Nobile, a grand space located on the palace's second floor.
3000幾年前嘅畫都 preserve 得幾好。Bull-related sports.下面係神話嚟嘅喎，真係咁樣嘅咩？
During his trips to Crete, archaeologist Arthur John Evans discovered several ancient tablets. They eventually led him to define the forms of Minoan writing known as Linear A and Linear B. The Minoans used these forms of writing for recording many things, including business transactions. For example, one clay tablet discovered at the Palace of Knossos was inscribed in Linear B script. The tablet detailed the transfer of coriander, often used in the perfume industry, between a man named Kyprios and another person named Twinon. The deciphering of tablets such as these has given historians great insight into many aspects of Minoan culture and society.
用咩材料整出嚟嘅？用咩材料整出嚟嘅嚿嘢？睇唔出。呢啲係羊，羊頭係咁嘅樣嘅。 真係肉講。應該會跑返上去之後。
According to myth, the half-man, half-bull Minotaur was born after Queen Pasiphae slept with a bull sent by the gods as punishment upon her. This embarrassed King Minos, but he could not bring himself to kill the Minotaur. Instead, he hid the monster in a labyrinth constructed by Daedalus.
公元前500幾年，咁嗰陣牛頭人已經係一個傳說嚟嘅啦。真係下面。
Daedalus was an important figure in Greek mythology, an ingenious inventor. He once became so jealous of his similarly clever nephew that he threw him from the top of the Athenian Acropolis. As a consequence, Daedalus was banished from Athens, though this did not prevent him from being able to get work. In Crete, he was hired by Queen Pasiphae to construct an artificial cowsuit that would allow her to seduce a bull she was particularly taken with due to a curse from the gods. Daedalus complied, and his invention helped facilitate the birth of the Minotaur. Afterwards, Minos conscripted Daedalus to build the labyrinth, presumably as penance for his role in creating the Minotaur. But perhaps the most well-known story about Daedalus involves his son, Icaros, who used wings built by his father and flew too close to the sun, thus plummeting into the sea.
呢個都係真跡嚟嘅，公元前1世紀。我要特登睇個人。
Sometime after the birth of the Minotaur, King Minos' son Androgeos was killed in Athens by the same bull that impregnated his mother. An infuriated Minos demanded that Athens send 7 of their noblest men and 7 of their most virtuous women to Knossos every year. After being carried to Crete aboard a ship with black sails, the men and women would then be cast into the labyrinth to be eaten by the Minotaur.
咁有趣嘅故事。可以喺一個硬幣上面畫一個迷宮都幾犀利嘅，雖然呢個唔係真係一個迷宮，點睇都係直行就可以走得出。都一條路啫嘛，呢個迷宮。我估唔到佢原本走落去，咁我咪睇唔到呢個地方。
One of the Athenian youths chosen to be imprisoned in the labyrinth, Theseus, had enough of the morbid ritual. Before leaving Athens, he proclaimed he would kill the Minotaur, then return to his city on a ship flying white sails. Before entering the labyrinth, Theseus met King Minos' daughter, Ariadne, who fell madly in love with him. Ariadne provided Theseus with a thread he could unravel to help him find his way back out of the maze. Armed with this thread, Theseus entered the labyrinth, killed the Minotaur, escaped the maze, and set sail for Athens with Ariadne by his side.
跟住帶咗支黑旗啊，飛落去。可以撞佢嘅添。
I see you found your way through the maze of ruins. The Minoans played a large part in shaping Greek myths, but also in introducing influences from other places and cultures. Now, what else would you like to do? You want to test yourself? Very well. Let's begin with a simple question. On which island was Knossos located? Yes, Knossos was located on the island of Crete. Time for another question. Which hero killed the Minotaur?
呢啲都唔係歷史。
Correct. Theseus slew the Minotaur, then escaped the labyrinth thanks to some thread from Ariadne. Now for the last question. What did Daedalus build for Queen Pasiphae? Yes, Daedalus made Pasiphae a cowsuit so she could seduce the bull she was cursed to love. Congratulations, traveler. You are a true student of history. Gladly. Follow me.
OK。呢度係 Attica 音樂，不如喺度停低啦。仲有好多隻喎，仲係有排玩嘅成隻 game。 有排行。有冇啲有趣啲嘅地方？啲 tour 就行得七七八八㗎啦，其實。雅典呢度其實相當多啊。Watery， 唉，唞下先。